The iPad Pro or traditional method of painting tattoo flash, which one is better? Well, that's what we're here to find out in today's video. My name is Daggett, this is Daggett Designs, and in today's video, like I said, we are discussing digital art versus traditional art, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about the differences between using a Procreate app on the iPad Pro for drawing traditional style tattoo flash, or using the traditional method of hand drawing your flash and hand painting it using watercolor paints. So let's get straight into this discussion. Now, if you really want to know which one my favorite is and what I personally recommend, make sure you stick around to the end of the video where you'll find out which one wins for me. Now, first up, we're going to be talking about the iPad Pro, specifically using the Procreate app. Now, if you've been interested in tattoo flash or tattoo art for any time, you've probably seen people on YouTube, tattoo artists and the like, using their iPad Pros to draw and develop tattoo flash. You see this all over Instagram and other social media platforms where tattoo artists are advertising their designs. Now, these are the top 5 reasons I think the iPad Pro is perfect for drawing and designing tattoo flash and tattoo illustrations. Number 1 is that you have unlimited sketch pages. So this might not sound important, but paper is expensive, and ultimately, after years to come, the iPad will sort of pay for itself in terms of art supplies. You are saving a lot on your sketch paper and your good quality art supplies by just using the iPad Pro. And this way you can save your designs to a cloud system like iCloud or Google Drive, maybe Dropbox. And once you've done that, you'll have unlimited storage space to continue creating art. So you basically never run out of pages, you never run out of canvases. Now, reason number 2 is tools and techniques. So with the iPad Pro, you're going to be given the option to copy and paste, color swatch so that you can match exact colors. Not only this, but you've got the option for different types of symmetry so that you don't have to redraw the exact same thing on the other side of the page. Now, I've taught ways of doing this in the past using the more traditional method of tracing through different sides of paper, but the iPad Pro is super intuitive and allows you to create perfectly symmetrical images, mandalas, and different designs using that tool. Now, the most important feature within that tool set, in my opinion, especially for a tattoo artist, is the ability to move, resize, and reshape different elements of a design. Now, this is something where previously you would have to erase it from your page and redraw that element of the design so that it fits maybe the shape of the arm or fits the design a little bit better for how you'd like it to be. Drawing them digitally means that you can scale it to whatever size you need and print it straight out so that it can be stenciled. Reason number 3 is a portable reference library as well as a live reference library. So this is a fantastic tool for any artist, but I find it's very useful for creating tattoo illustrations. When I'm trying to come up with ideas or I need to reference something, I've got a folder on my iPad which is full of reference material, full of tattoo flash to inspire me. And on top of this, if I really needed to outdo myself, I can of course go onto the internet, go through Google Chrome or Safari, and just Google whatever tattoo flash I'd like or whatever reference images I'd like to base my tattoo designs off. So this way you've got an unlimited amount of reference material, and on top of that, you can permanently save that reference material and take it with you anywhere. Okay, reason number 4 is application within realism or surrealism tattoos. So generally speaking, with realism style tattoos, you're not really drawing your own designs, you're more using composition techniques to put together designs, and then you're tattooing from a photograph so that you can get the most realistic looking tattoo possible. Now, within the Procreate app on the iPad, as well as many other apps, it's going to allow you to cut out, move around, and transform photos to create a perfect layout or composition for your design. On top of this, it's going to allow you to play with the lighting, maybe turn something into black and gray in case you're doing a gray wash tattoo, or you can leave it as color, maybe even boost up the vibrancy of those colors. So this is going to give you a lot of options. So as you can see with my previous points, the biggest benefit of using the iPad Pro for this type of work is being able to have all of your tool sets with you. You can have all your different brushes, all your different sketching mediums, all of your different colors, all of your different paints. You get the point, right? You can have everything with you at all times. Reason number 5, however, is super important. It's the shareability of your artwork. Doing digital art allows you to share it directly to whatever platform you'd like as long as you have an internet connection. So this really doesn't limit you. You're able to create artwork directly on your device and then directly upload that to whatever website you'd like, whether you're doing print on demand for t-shirts, whether you're advertising your tattoo studio, whether you're creating some sort of vector art for graphic design purposes. It allows you to upload these things directly to the web so that you can get going and continue creating designs there is no limit to having to take photos, edit those photos, and then upload them somewhere. And with certain things like taking photos of things, you lose quality as you sort of blow them up to a bigger scale. So creating vector artworks on your iPad or doing things in that manner, being able to change the resolution in Procreate, for example, you're able to create much larger scale artworks, and therefore you can print those out at a much bigger scale. Now, before we jump across into reasons why you should stick to traditional art, I'd like you to take a moment to consider whether or not you're enjoying this video and whether or not you enjoy my content. If you do, I'd really appreciate it if you smack that like button right now. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with future videos and content. Okay, so now we're looking at reasons why you should consider sticking to traditional art and maybe why you don't need to buy that fancy new iPad Pro to continue creating fantastic art. So reason number one on the list is the cost. So, getting into art, traditional supplies are going to be a lot cheaper than investing in something like an iPad Pro. So maybe down the line, it's a good idea to invest in something like the iPad Pro. And I sort of feel like that's the way it should be. If you're trying to learn, you should learn how to draw on paper to begin with. If you have the luxury of an iPad Pro, having things like brush sets, having things like stamps and reference images are really great to have. However, I still think you should be focusing and drawing on paper and then make that transition to digital, do a little bit of both. But certainly the cost can be a big factor for a lot of people. Traditional art supplies can be very, very expensive as well, especially once you've been doing art for over the years for a long time. You will have spent a lot on your art supplies. But that having been said, you can really go for the cheapest art supplies and still create some incredible art. Reason number two on this list is having a physical art portfolio or art that you can sell that actually looks authentic. So essentially, if you're doing handmade art, you have a physical product at the end of it. You've got a physical painting or drawing that you've spent your hours on, and the work shows for itself. Now, once you've got this physical piece of art that you've done, you're able to store it in a physical portfolio that you can then take and show to people. You're also able to take photos of those drawings if you want to put them online. And on top of this, you are also able to sell them or get them done as prints. You can have them scanned up and done as prints, which is also an option with digital art. However, I've always struggled to make my digital illustrations look as authentic and handmade as a traditional drawing. Reason number three is your color theory. This is super important. All artists should know a little bit of color theory. I'm certainly not an expert, but I do try to learn more and more about color theory every time I'm doing art. And I think everyone should study at least a little bit of color theory. Whether you're a tattoo artist, an aspiring apprentice, or maybe you just like drawing, you should definitely consider practicing color theory. Now, a great method that I learned to do this was to limit yourself to very small amount of colors in the beginning. Have red, yellow, and blue, black and white as your only colors. Or when you're painting tattoo flash, generally we won't use white paint, so black, red, blue, and yellow. Now within those colors, you're able to mix many other colors. You may not be able to get exact shades in the beginning, exact tonal values within those colors, maybe if you're not comfortable with it, but that's why we have to learn. So over time, you learn how to mix those colors and create whatever colors you need. This gives you a great amount of versatility, and it also really sharpens your eye for detail and color down the track. Okay, number four is actual drawing ability and skill. Now, this is going to be a controversial one. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me in saying that traditional hand-drawn art is harder than traditional art, and I'm not saying that it is. They both have their hard points. There are things that you can't do with digital art, or that you're more limited in with digital art, and there's things within traditional art that are certainly a lot harder to do than you can digitally. However, I do think that in my experience, the more time I spend drawing traditionally, the easier it is for me to transition onto my iPad when I need to, rather than the other way around. You have to be able to rely on your own artistic ability and skill when you're drawing on paper. This will minimize the amount of mistakes that you make, and you can't really erase ink and you can't really erase paint. Especially watercolor paints that soak into your page. So when you're painting and drawing traditional tattoo flash, you are limited in the sense that you have to really rely on your art skills, and this is going to help you progress and improve your art skills over time so that you can be more confident and better at drawing over the long haul. Now, my last and final point on the traditional art side is just that tactile, comfortable feeling that you get when you're drawing with a pen and a piece of paper. It feels comfortable, relatable, and accessible. Now, there's something about drawing with a regular pen or a regular pencil and a sheet of paper and hand doing these pieces of art that really it connects you with your art on a different level. I personally don't get that feeling when I'm drawing on the iPad Pro. That always feels like I'm working on some sort of graphics project, and I always feel a lot more connected to my art when I'm doing things by hand. Maybe that's just me, but I think that's a really valuable point because art is all about connecting with what you're doing and creating things that you are passionate about and that you love. Okay, we've gotten to the point of the video where I'm going to tell you guys which one of these is my favorite, whether it's the iPad Pro or continuing to use traditional methods for creating Tattoo Flash, which one I prefer and which one I use. And the answer to that question is both. Actually, I like a combination of both, and I use a combination of both throughout all of my work. I find that there's a tremendous amount of value in both of them. And so I think if you have the financial resources and you're able to acquire all of what you need to be able to use your iPad Pro, but also use traditional supplies, you should be doing both. I think there's, like I said, tremendous value. The portability of the iPad means I can take my work anywhere I go. If I'm waiting somewhere, I can always pull my iPad out and do a bit of creative work or just some sketching, whatever it may be, some practice. But the feeling that I get when I sit down at my desk and do a traditional hand-painted piece that I can portfolio or sell afterwards is just a completely different feeling, and I think it's super valuable to increase your art skills by actually hand drawing things. Now, this video is not to say that you shouldn't be using one or the other, but I would like to know what you guys prefer. You can leave your comments down below letting me know, do you prefer the iPad Pro for creating Tattoo Flash or the traditional hand-drawn way of doing it? Let me know down below. Make sure you smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye-bye. If you like the content that I make and you'd like to support the channel, make sure you smash that like button. And hey, while you're at it, check out one of these other great videos.